He was clearly a once-in-a-century genius in the stock market, yet his family sent him to a psychiatric hospital 11 times. They wouldn't even let him go after he was discharged. And all of this happened because the adopted son wanted to fight for the family's affection. So he set up traps specifically for the man, and he did all of it to secure the heir's position. The man's family originally became wealthy through stock trading, so once each child became an adult, they were required to enter the stock market to train. If they could use the principal to earn a large sum in a short time, they would become the new family heir, the adopted son, relying on the family's favoritism and his sly tactics. Took all of the man's resources and still wasn't satisfied. He even stole money from the house until the total reached $3 million. When he came back again to steal, the man caught him. Thinking of the risks in the market, the man tried to stop him, but he was accused by the adopted son instead. But to his shock, when the adopted son saw the parents appear, he stabbed himself with a knife and blamed all the stock market losses on the man, claiming he tried to persuade the man to stop but was hurt by the man in anger. After that, the man was taken to the psychiatric hospital by the others, while the adopted son used the man's notes to become the family genius. Even the acceptance letter from the first consortium was switched to the adopted son's name. He told everyone he had just graduated and was hired by the first consortium. He even secretly bribed the hospital doctors to keep punishing the man. Until the final week before college graduation, the man was finally allowed to leave the psychiatric hospital, seeing his 3 older sisters come pick him up. He thought they had found his notes and came to mend their relationship. But the next second, he heard their warning, telling him not to offend the adopted son when he returned home, because in their eyes, the adopted son had already received the first consortium's offer, and the man wasn't qualified to compete with him. They even threatened him using his own life. After hearing this, he felt it was ridiculous and immediately told them the truth, saying he was the one who had actually been accepted, but his sisters didn't believe him at all. They thought he was joking. After all, in the identity crafted for him by the adopted son, he was someone who couldn't even tell the red and green lines on a stock chart, a total loser. They then warned him again. If he continued hurting the adopted son, they would send him back to the psychiatric hospital. The man, who had been tortured for 3 years, suddenly felt terrified, seeing the vicious looks on their faces. He could no longer suppress his anger and harshly taught them a lesson, but his actions enraged his sisters. They angrily declared that without their help, he wouldn't survive in this city. Then they got in the car together, but the second sister, getting angrier as she thought about it, came up with a way to punish him. The eldest sister saw her movements and seemed to understand. She wanted to stop her, but remembered being hit earlier and immediately pulled her hand back from the car door. Watching her sister drive the car into their brother, watching the car drive away, the man completely lost hope in them. At that moment, he deeply regretted ever helping them. When he opened his eyes again, he was already in the hospital. Seeing his crying friend in front of him, he didn't know how to comfort her. Realizing she had saved him, he secretly decided he would repay them in other ways in the future. Soon, graduation day arrived. As soon as the man appeared in the banquet hall, the adopted son pretended his wound hurt, holding his stomach in pain, trying to get the parents' attention. When the father saw this, he immediately blamed the man and told him to apologize for hurting the adopted son. But the man, already completely disillusioned, didn't care about their accusations at all. Looking at their hypocritical faces, he immediately exposed the adopted son's act. Even the truth about the $3 million loss, he revealed it too. But none of them wanted to believe him, saying the adopted son had already made money with his own ability, so it was impossible he lost $3 million. They said every loss came from a single account, so it couldn't be him. Not knowing the man didn't even have a basic computer at home. But when the man pointed it out, they realized they never bought him one. Not out of disdain, but because they simply didn't care. Because in their eyes, when the adopted son lost money, he was paying tuition for stock trading. The second sister even thought they gave the man $100,000 monthly, so he could have bought one himself. But when the statements documents were pulled out, they realized the one spending the money wasn't the man, it was the adopted son, but they still refused to admit it was their mistake and questioned why the man didn't ask them, not knowing that when he asked them for money to buy a pair of shoes, he was scolded and told he was a useless freeloader. But when everything was laid out before them, they claimed the man was ruining the family's reputation, saying letting him live in the house and enjoy life should already make him grateful. Seeing this, he immediately took out a hospital report, saying he never spent even $1 when he had appendicitis. They locked him in the basement for 3 days because of the adopted son. He ended up crawling to the hospital himself, but the second sister refused to believe it, saying the family had a private doctor. Then, to prove the man was lying, she immediately called the doctor over, but learned that at the time, the doctor had been called away because the adopted son was in a bad mood, and even had his phone taken away. After hearing this, they finally realized they had indeed been wrong, but their long-standing vanity kept them from accepting their mistakes. So they pushed all the blame onto the man, seeing how shameless they were. The man no longer wanted to argue. He simply told them he didn't come today to apologize, but to accept the First Consortium's invitation to take the role of Investment Division Director.